Hello, and I noticed we dropped this time. I was just under attack by spiders. Nobody likes being under attack by spiders. Nobody liked that. And yet, it will keep happening. I need these large aloe seeds. This is what I need here. I don't know. I'm wanting to get a nice screenshot for this part. There we go. That seems good. Let's go fight stuff. By which I mean large aloe seeds. Thank you, Gwen. I need the unnatural roots that come out of them. I feel like I need 10. Don't know where I'm getting that figure from. These minions are quite helpful, though, in the matter. Yeah, there's more over that direction. Animate another minion. And go see about hunting some more large aloe seeds. Hello, Kula Monster Gaming. This is a fairly new character, yeah. I've played her all of an hour and 35 minutes. Technically, I made her on December 26th, I believe. But I didn't do anything at the time beyond that. So this is a new account in general, relatively speaking, that I made Thanksgiving of last year. So it itself is not that old. I wanted to make an alt account and unlock everything again and just re-experience an account from fresh and all of that. Because it had been quite a long time since that experience. Oh, for sure. I mean, I first got the game in a little bit after it came out in 2005. It came out in April, and I think I got it in August, September, somewhere in there. So I've been playing it for a very long time, but I decided to finally get an alt account during the autumn sale last year. Yeah, it was my first game of the Its Ilk as well. And it kind of, in some regards, ruined them for me. Just by being excellent. Okay, how many of these do I have at this point? Okay, I think that's all the more I need. Let me go talk to Aiden. Guild Wars 2 is a very different experience. And like I was super hyped about it. I played in some of the beta stuff. And I played it for a while after it came out, and then I realized I was bored with it. And that boredom came from the combat being uninteresting to me. I think the combat in this game I felt was quite engaging in Guild Wars 2. It just felt really, really boring. I will say I decided to. Yeah, I know a lot of people like FF14. Um, I did decide to, at the repeated recommendation of friends, give Path of Fire and End of Dragons a try. The late those Guild Wars 2 expansions, and I got them during the summer sale last year when they were a good bit off, and I have found that I enjoyed things a lot more there. And a lot of what they did to improve things was just make enemies way more compelling and engaging. And the problem is, even to this day, Core Tyria is the enemy design there is tremendously bland and just mechanically. Not, I think visuals they do fine, but from a mechanical standpoint, core enemies are extremely bland and uninteresting to fight. And I think that's a huge detriment to the game. And something that they have improved on design wise as time goes on, where I think elite specializations are also generally more interesting implementations of the professions, which I think is unfortunate. I think the core implementations could really stand to be improved in terms of interest and having elite specs feel more like their variants rather than improvements, if that makes sense. But yeah, I did find that the enemy design overall was just superior in later Guild Wars 2. But unfortunately, that core experience, like I said, remains quite bland in comparison, and in comparison to this game and mini games, but also later Guild Wars 2. So I'm glad that I've gotten to a point where I'm enjoying playing Guild Wars 2 because it's a game that I had quite long lamented not enjoying because I wanted to like it, right? I wanted to like the game. There's so much that I liked about it, music and visuals and all that. Yeah, tank healer DPS. I mean, it's tricky, right? Of like, how are you putting together multiplayer content? In my opinion, the biggest problem Guild Wars 2 had is that when it first came out, its identity was defined as not these things, right? They had things from Guild Wars 1 that they felt were challenging and problems for the game. And so like one of those was the build system being extremely complicated, which I think was difficult to balance. Now I blame over the years my esteem of Isaiah Cartwright has dropped dramatically. Um, I don't know what his pedigree was for balancing games before he came on board with Guild Wars 1 and was doing that and was like in charge of that. I don't think he knew how to balance the sort of game Guild Wars 1 was. And I think he struggled with that and found himself perpetually frustrated by it because he didn't have it did not seem to me like he had the best skill set for doing that or like the best mindset for doing that. And so, but like there was serious problems in Guild Wars 1 of build elitism where people would like ping your bar, we're not going to let you in our group unless we're happy with your build and all this sort of stuff. And that is a problem, and that's something that is still going to exist in Guild Wars 2, but to a lesser degree. Yeah, like the multi-classing. So there's a reason they got rid of that. There's a reason they went to those rigid skill bars because in Guild Wars 2, you can make a mediocre build, but it's hard to make one that's actually truly bad. And in Guild Wars 1, it's very easy to make a bad build. And that's something that new players who don't have the ability to do skill evaluation or any of that sort of stuff are going to struggle with. So like I can understand why they wanted to address that. And apparently jumping is a super important to people, and so they addressed that too. And I that in particular boggles my mind, because there are plenty of games that I've enjoyed that did not have jumping, and I did not like a lot of the Legend of Zelda games, like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, don't have jumping. They have like at ledges, Link will automatically jump, but there's no jump button in those games. As an example, Pokemon doesn't have a jump button. So So it always struck me as a very weird. Why is jumping so important to the enjoyment of the game to you? But anyway, um, so like I think there were a lot of things where they wanted to move towards open, like the open world design, but they were trying to experiment with some stuff. But there's a lot when it came to the combat mechanics in particular, where they were like, here are the things we don't like about how Guild Wars 1 is working, and the points where we are, as developers, frustrated with it, that they were trying to move away from rather than towards some sort of vision. And I think over time, they've figured out what their vision is, and they've been able to move towards that. But that's not reflected in the earliest elements of design, which you see in the core world that was their initial release. So it's understandable how that happens, but Aiden likes Chantel's horn. And unnatural growths. Hail, stranger. My name is Aiden. I teach wilderness survival skills to help rangers to attack and defend more effectively. What would you like to discuss? Unnatural growths. Ever since Azure started her work at the Wizard Tower, this region has been plagued by unnatural plant-like creatures. I suspect her magical experiments have inadvertently warped the local flora to create these aloe husks. Groundless accusations, however, are not a reasonable way to resolve a problem. I'd like you to hunt these monsters for a while and see if you can find an aloe root so that I might examine it more closely and see if my suspicions are correct. Explore near the falls in the west to look for the creatures. I can provide you temporarily with a few skills that should make this task easier. Ignite arrows and dual shot. Dual shot is gotta be worse for me than point blank shot right now, right? Yeah, and like there's things that make Guild Wars 2 great too. But it like here's another example, right? Players complained about crafting in Guild Wars 1 because it didn't feel like they were doing the crafting. So then they made this over elaborate, over clunky, over grindy crafting system for players to feel like they were doing the ones crafting. And I don't think it was to the game's benefit. In my opinion, in Guild Wars 2, like crafting is, I think that they have a lot of core ideas that are good. Hey, Dead on Stick. Thank you for all of the gift subs. I really appreciate that. So I feel like Guild Wars 2's crafting system was in response to player feedback about crafting, and I understand. I don't know. Do you feel like all the crafting they've done in FS has the most rewarding crafting system? Yeah, it's like what makes a rewarding crafting system is something that I want to dig into more. Because Guild Wars 1, what I like about crafting Guild Wars 1 is you have to craft armor if you want good armor. Like, you can get collector armor, but it generally has downsides. So, like, you have to craft if you want good armor, which mean, and there's, like, other things that you need to craft as well. Or, like, you can craft that is beneficial to do so. So, it creates this system where crafting materials are useful and valuable, and you need to engage with the crafting system. But at the, like, so I don't know. It's how important are you making the crafting system? And in Guild Wars 2, there's a bunch of stuff where you really do need to be interacting with the crafting system for some stuff. But like actually getting levels in the crafting system is kind of tedious. And then they added having to get recipes rather than just being able to use Discover. And anyway. So I like where crafting's at in Guild Wars 1, and I think the system works out well, and that like there's enough complexity and variety of materials to be interesting, and to create variances in the market, but not so much that it becomes burdensome. And I feel like the Guild Wars 2 crafting system is burdensome to large degrees. But that's my personal opinion. There's probably people who like the Guild Wars 2 crafting system, and for them, more power to them. And I'm glad that they enjoy it. What I would want from a crafting system, I think, is where it feels mechanically relevant to engage with it. And where it feels like it interoperates with the rest of the game in a good way. So, I've been watching a playthrough of FF14. I'm not sure how much I'm. There's enough other games I'm interested in playing that I don't want to do so, but I am aware of the freak out because of the whole meme and everything. Um, yeah, the global cooldown on skills seems like it would be kind of clunky for sure. FF14 looks like it's a pseudo turn-based game, right? Because of that global cooldown. Well done, well done. If this route shows the effects of being warped by Azir's magic, I am certain she will listen to reason and change her ways. Since you've proven so adept at using these new skills, you might as well keep them, I think. Um, maybe I only needed one route, but I got 10. Yes, apparently I only needed one, but I got 10. Hmm. Yeah, the problem is you need your game to be good at the start, not later on. That's the real challenge. Yeah, I think that's a cool aspect of it, is being able to collect professions on a single character. Or character classes, I should say. Well, I don't need all of these aloe roots. Maybe he gave me a bow at some point? Oh yeah, this is definitely better than this bow. Weirdly enough, okay, this is silly. This is a longbow of fortitude that's actually a flat bow. Yeah, there's always going to be weird incentives with any sort of system. Hi Gwen. Would you like another flower? Okay, that just cost me 5 gold, but that's fine. What am I doing now? Need to do that. Probably not going to do that one. I should go get that. Okay, let's go sell random stuff I don't need. The thing is, different people play games for different reasons. And different things are going to be important to different people as well. I do want to hang on to these unnatural seeds. I do not need these aloe roots, but I'm going to stick them over here for now. Theoretically, a lot of these are going to be worth more salvaged because they're going to be better, like more valuable crafting materials. But I also don't feel like doing that. Okay, let's get rid of these excess aloe roots. I only needed 1 and I got 10. From dumb overworld engaging instance. Yeah. I never played WoW. I enjoyed Warcraft 3 and then learned WoW had a subscription fee and never got into it. If you ever want to see F14 crafting. Okay, I was gonna go hunt some bandits. I think I might actually have all of the. Trying to decide how completionist I'm wanting to be. Yeah, I'm not feeling a super strong desire to be super completionist. I'll do this, though, because I'm already here. Alright, let's get the strong box back. Yeah, I'm really glad they gave you minions in pre. Yeah, that's also kind of true. Okay, you guys can go fight those. I'm going to take this back to Vona. Yeah, you don't tend to just casually bring minions, do you? Although I would be curious to hear your elaboration on that, Dead on Stick. Might give another try to the bees. I mean, back in the day, there was no minion cap, and Verada Sacrifice was busted good. Yes, this is the chest that Baron Egan has been talking about. Oh, right. I need to go talk to... Oh, we're on the Reviled. That's not back in the day, as far as I'm concerned. I do remember using Heal Area to keep minions alive. Although I remember the... I think it's Verada Sacrifice being extremely good because it was like... I think you could keep it up all the time. But yeah, Blood of the Master was dangerous because you could get so many minions you'd kill yourself with it. If that's even how it worked. I don't even remember how it worked anymore. I'd have to go look at the wiki. But I mean, it's not as big of a deal when you can have, like... Okay, I don't know. I just walked and it worked. No, Blood of the Master was not a faction skill. That was Prophecies. I'm fairly certain on that. Okay, well that was finally able to be done. Okay, let's go. I think Prince Rook should have a quest. Yeah, 55s were really strong. It was more efficient. Yeah, like they did too much to try to counter it without just doing the obvious thing of putting vampiric gaze enemies in places. Like if they just given more enemies a strong vampiric gaze, 55 is so deal withable. But for some reason they tried to do enchantment removal. Yeah, because their way of trying to deal with 55ing was enchantment removal instead of vampiric gaze. Like literally, just give vampiric gaze to some enemies, and 55ing doesn't work. And it's so silly of them. Like if your goal is to counter 55, use the hard counter. I mean, Health regen is good against 55 as well. That's true. But like Prot Spirit did not work against Lifesteal. It might now, but it is. I don't think. So. I don't know if it does, but back in those days, Prot Spirit did not. Yeah, but Lifesteal is not damage. It doesn't count as damage, so it would go through all protection effects. And so you can just instantly kill a 55 if you can steal more than 55 health with Vampiric Gaze. And it's just instantly kills them. Like that's how it works. Like if you go into the Norn tournament right now and get Menlo, I'm pretty sure you can still just one shot him with Vampiric Gaze. Okay. How do I want to get to Oberon the Reviled? I think he's actually closer here, so I'll go talk to Alec. Like I can tell you from experience, like Prot Spirit will not save you from getting Vampiric Gaze to death, or at least it didn't. Yeah, like if you had the like Conjure Nightmare and oh, what is the pain one? Like you can easily degen pressure out of 55 as well. For the way most 55s work. Yeah, it's probably a bit misleading, but all those protection effects just specifically worked against damage, right? I don't know if yeah. That's the thing is like because lifesteal counts as a different thing than normal damage, it gets around that. Okay, I need to remember to be changing folders. No. Yeah, that's understandable. I prefer non-concise descriptions as well. It's just what I'm used to. Finally got a bear pelt. Artist quest. Okay. Yeah, it was really flavorful description. Isn't... Oh, you might be a little bit further on. I'll go a little bit further on and talk to the Wayward Wizard. Yeah, I like the level 20 cap as well. In retrospect of like the full set of everything, I think it would have made sense to not have LDOA and just have it be default. You get to level 20 in pre-searing Ascalon. I think that would have made sense. But yeah, having most of the content made for max level characters makes really really good sense. And I do wish that they had done that with Prophecies as well. Yeah, there's some nice quality of life. ArenaNet in general has been fairly good about quality of life stuff. Obviously, design technologies and concepts and everything have kind of evolved over time. And Like Guild Wars 2 is overall quite good about quality of life stuff, for example. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they made Prophecies. It was successful, and then they had to go, okay, now what? This was maybe further off than I was thinking it was. But that's okay. Let's see. I'm going to want to do this. Oh, wait. Oh, I need to talk to Necromancer Mune? Okay, we're just going to do that. Kining, okay, so Kining has this weird problem where I don't know why I'm hitting the wrong buttons all the time. Where yeah, I do wish that there was a little bit better integration with the whole faction conflict. I have issues with factions all over the place, but Kining has this problem where every individual area within like each zone of Kining is quite distinct and unique, but they're all similar enough to each other that they kind of fade into a big blur, and it's just like too much of the same thing. It's like, I don't know, getting a variety pack of chocolates is great, but at a certain point, like maybe you want some other candies. Except like this is maybe not all chocolate. Yeah, the Ampha ambushes are really annoying. I'll agree with that. And the local versus foreign quarter for Vizuna also is kind of annoying. There's a lot that I like about Kaining, but yeah, it's the fact that you get outposts that are useful for where you can get into Buckdeck Byway or the Undercity, but then they're kind of like very specific. It's kind of annoying. Okay. I'm probably only going to go for about another 20 minutes or so because I have other things I need to get to today, but I appreciate you stopping by. You want to know when I go live? The Discord's the place where I announce it. I do not have a lurk command, but I appreciate the nomenclature. This is a good spot for a screenshot. Necromancer in the Catacombs with Grenth. Excellent. I should be taking it out. You're right. I just wasn't thinking about it. Not like I have a huge breadth of skills anyway. But yeah, it is not doing anything. You are most correct. What am I going to put on there instead, though? Ignite arrows? Indeed. Hyper-optimized. It even allows for it. That was also a joke. Very hard to optimize builds in pre-searing because you just... Everything is not great for that. Let's kill some spiders because I feel like it. I know, right? Once this character ascends, I definitely want to head into the underworld and get myself a black spider or a black widow pet for her. Wonder if I've picked up enough bits and bobs to be able to get the Crichton armor. Not really worth it, though. Yeah, that's definitely a long-term goal. It's when one plat's no longer a big deal and all that sort of stuff. More death magic is what I want. That is true. I am a necro shooting a bow. To be fair, my bow does not have any requirements. But it still is going to be very limited damage potential without any marksmanship investment. Mostly it gives me something to do between Deathly Swarms. Excuse me. It would play well with barbs. To an extent. Well, I mean, now I get a point-blank shot with 0 investment to do 10 more damage. Okay, Oberon the Reviled. Actually, I need to kill some raging cadavers. I walked out of range of that random. Yeah, I think Deathly Swarm is still pretty solid, quite frankly. But, I mean, I don't know. Meta being what it is, everything's goofy. Char in the Catacombs, yes, thank you. The Accursed Path. Working here in the Catacombs protects me from the prying eyes of the living, but my necromantic experiments have begun to attract the attention of creatures from beyond the Pale. I'd like to continue my work without interruption by these infernal beasts. If you go south and eliminate the crypt fiends that have been bothering me, I will share with you a few of my most essential curses. Then you too will see that the true power in the necromancer's art lies not merely in the manipulation of the dead. Okie-doke. Soul Barbs. That's a great skill to have access to for later. Faint-heartedness is also fine. I mean, the effect of faint-heartedness is actually pretty strong. But the fact that it's single target... single target nature of it is where the unfortunateness of it lies. Even these guys have chillblains? What's up with that? Still more, you say? Oberon, what are you doing down here? Okay, finally. That took entirely longer than I expected. Excellent. I shall be glad to be rid of those fiends. You show promise in the art of necromancy. Thank you. Yes, I need to go back down here to the branch and follow that over. There's a warrior boss right there. Skull Cleaver, Skull something. I don't know. I don't remember the name offhand. It's a skeleton boss. Over a quart. So what, about a liter? I don't know my measurements, I'm afraid. My conversions, I think that's about right. Exactly a liter even. Where is my cat? Oh, underneath the nameplate. I see. Yeah. Ether Feast versus like Blood Renewal versus Troll Unguent and Healing Signet and I've always liked this chamber. It's always been very distinct. Let's see how vulnerable this is to Deathly Swarm. Necromancer actually has quite a few. Because it has Blood Renewal for like, here's how blood magic can heal you individually without enemies, but also like you have lifesteal effects. Yeah, I like this one quite a bit. And then there's the death magic ones that steal health from your minions, right? They sacrifice your minions to heal you, or eat gain power from the dead and things like that. Necromancer actually has a lot of self heal options. Then yeah, Warrior has Healing Signet or Lion's Comfort. Mesmer just has Ether Feast, if I recall correctly. I also like the design of the monk. Fair. I also like the design of the monk where the monk's more powerful healing skills can't target itself. It really leans into that selfless nature, right? But also, like from a design standpoint, it means that if you focus down the monk, then they're not going to be as good at healing. And I think there's a lot of good design stuff there too. Yeah, there's Healing Touch, but like Healing Touch is not the most potent healing skill. It's not as powerful as Heal Other. It's fine as a self heal, to be sure, but I mean, it's mostly like if you want self healing that's potent, you're looking at your elites, right? So. Okay, let's go. Yeah, let's go to Ashford and turn in some stuff. I mean, and Healing Touch requires good Divine Favor to work anyway. Oh my goodness, my inventory. Okay, we're gonna spend a moment doing something about this. Oh yeah, I'll hang on to that Divine Symbol for now. That Divine Symbol is useful because of the minus 20 HP being, if you get death penalty, it can work with 55ing in a way that's useful. Okay. Man, I'm getting really bad improved sale value luck off of these. That's okay. Yeah, I don't need these spider webs. They probably won't salvage super well anyway. Okay, Alice and the Tanner. And then Elementalist is casting spells, right? Or restoration. Um, oh, need to swap some cups around. And Pitney. Let's see, what else sticks out in my mind? Yes, your precious bird was in a ritual. Yeah, I need to go up there. I'm gonna go do that. Assassin actually has a number of different self-heals in Shadow Arts. Shadow Refuge is actually really solid. But that wants you to be attacking, right? Which plays into what Assassin does. There's also Healing Spring as a heal, but that I wouldn't call that a main heal either for Ranger. It is interesting to think about. Yeah, I mean, like, if you could target another ally with Shadow Refuge, how awesome would that be? I know, I haven't named it at all. I'm not really planning on sticking with a Melandru Stalker. I'm just keeping it long enough to... that's true. It's too long. Pet name can't be that long. But I definitely want to keep it for a post-searing because of the way that works with the quest. You can fight the wolf if you want to, but I really don't care. Maybe I should get the Melandru Stalker to level 20 and turn it into the thing. I remember there's a whole process I went through of death leveling all of the pets on my main account for the menagerie. The Zaishin menagerie. Hey, Fair Capo. Hello. Yes. They're loyal to Adelburn. Grasden. Tithe for Ashford Abbey and opposition to the king. I hope you're right. And Kasha, opposition to king. Not I. Long live the king. Yes, they're loyal. Now, excuse me as I turn in this cloak. Oh, Duke Barradin. Yes, the true king. I recently received word from Devona that a Char Ranger has been sighted south of the wall. Isle begins scouring the countryside for this creature. Meantime, he needs someone to go into Regent Valley to Fort Rannoch and deliver a message warning Lord Darren. He must begin his own search for this Starfiend. Little Tom, have this cloak. Thanks for the random stuff. Warp to the exact opposite side of the map in terms of towns. I've always found this little area kind of neat. Yeah, I feel like resurrection shrines are there for mechanical purposes, and any lore about them is very wonky. This little, like, gully with a tree in it's always been kind of neat to me. You don't really have any good angles on it, but I think it's kind of neat. There's one on this side, too, now that I think about it. It's a weird spot. What's this, a letter from the Duke? Oh, I see. The good Duke suggests that I am not doing enough to serve Ascalon. See what he says here. I trust you and your men, being so far from the conflicts of the wall, have ample resources to hunt down this Char. Between you and me, Barradin is fortunate he is so skilled a warrior, else he'd learn to regret being such a poor diplomat. In any case, this message has been received. You may consider yourself dismissed. This one is, like, probably one of the most valuable. Bless here. Would love to be sent to smash Chara shrines. It's true. I do find that stuff interesting. It is a weird design, though, to have this random bridge over this area that nobody actually goes to. Why is it here? Why is it this way? I don't know. That's kind of neat. It's true. Okay. You know what? I'm here already, so let's go ahead and do the orchard and get these baskets back. Reverse scale. But these ones are leaving me alone. That's nice. It's an odd location. Like, as he says, far from the wall, right? The wall passes up here. Like, why is Fort Rannoch here? Yeah. There's definitely, like, an implied history to Ascalon. Like, Fort Rannoch must be a somewhat old. It's used as a training facility for the Ascalon army. Fort Rannoch houses new recruits. Here, soldiers learn what it takes to be one of Ascalon's finest and bravest, and how to use their talents to defeat the enemy. Fort Rannoch is one of the best equipped strongholds in the kingdom. But, like, why? Why was it established? Why is it here? Like, there's a lot of good questions to ask about, like, Fort Rannoch. It feels like something that had to have been built, like, before the wall and a long time ago. Like, why is this here? Why is such a large, imposing, relatively speaking anyway, for all of these, fortress here? Like, what strategic or military purpose does this serve, right? I mean, Rin is back this way. It's where the Nolani Academy mission ends. So that's southwest. But yeah, Draskir, I think, is further north, right? But I mean, that, like, what's the history of Ascalon and its capitals and stuff, right? So yeah, I don't know why Fort Rannoch. It's a good question why Fort Rannoch, but I do not know the answer to that question. There you go. Whoever it's named after. I mean, there's a lot of the history of Ascalon, right, that we just don't have information on. Because it would have been founded by Doric, right? Who ruled the, like, human kingdoms before they splintered off into Ascalon, Kryta, and Or, if my recollection is correct. I'm just going to ignore the spiders. This area is pretty. But, like, because they push out the char in Ascalon. Yeah, there's a lot of really beautiful trees in here. I love the shadows on them. Moving with the branches. Very neat. How's the game volume, by the way? You're welcome, Mary. Okay. That's good. I need to go talk to Devona for that. Talk to Rurik and Ascalon. Devona for that. Sandra Elec. Let's go do the last couple of things here. I am not sure what you mean by SVN in this particular case, because when my brain reads that, I think of the version control software. And I'm guessing that's not what you mean. Ah, smart volume normalization. Gotcha. Yeah. Subversion's what we used in college, so that's what I always think of. Hi, for Ashford Abbey. Thank you for delivering it. I had no problems, but I will take the skill point. Duke's people are loyal to Atabrun after all. I'm pleased to hear that. They are. Hmm. Yeah, I think we used it in college because I feel like Git just wasn't as much of a thing at that point in time. Yeah. And it was free with Tortoise SVN. So that's what we used. I know that there's other version control software used in like Perforce, I think. That's bigger stuff for that bigger companies use. But I am not super versed in all of that. Yeah. I'm not sure the history on Git either. I feel like we probably would have used Git, or like there would have been a chance of us using Git if it was more of a thing, if that makes sense. Like, it makes me feel like it probably wasn't that big of a thing just because we weren't using it. But maybe there was other reasons. I legit do not know. Do I want to keep any of these? I don't. This longsword is not actually good. Wow. That would have been a significant and important change for them. Okay, let's just merchant this stuff off. I don't need it. A lot of quest rewards. Good for the wallet as far as precinct is concerned. Yeah. Crazy. Do I want to go up this way? No, that leaves me out. Different spot than I'm trying to go. I mean, I remember having our network folder, which is where we keep our individual stuff. This is all... I mean, I graduated in 2011, so it was all before that. Yeah, you mean the Great Northern Wall? Probably for the cool factor. It is distinctly taller than it needs to be for defensive purposes. One would think, but it does make for a very visually striking thing. Yeah. Yeah, I started college in 2006. So I took an extra year because there was too much. But right, your school system is a bit different there in the Netherlands. But that means I started playing Guild Wars 1 before I started college. Well, apparently I was fast enough. No, I was not. Apparently I was not fast enough. I didn't think I was when it closed my face, but then I apparently had the desync that fooled me. The final boss of Searing. The 4 char bosses in the middle. But yeah, getting through the gate. I mean, it didn't used to be possible until they doubled the timer. I'm going to finish off these last few quests and then take this. Oh man, I love the Northlands area. And then take this character post Searing and wrap up when I get into Ascalon City. That is what my plan is. I am getting hungry. Let me tell you, I need lunch. Your last message was blocked. I cannot tell you why, because I didn't see it, obviously. My guess is Twitch is being dumb for some reason. Yeah, I want to try to make a conscious effort for it. I mean, this stream's been going for over 2.5 hours now. I'm not like against streaming longer. It's just I have other stuff I need to get done today. So, but I started a little bit afternoon my time, so it's just kind of unfortunate that the timing doesn't work out a bit better. I'd like to do a longer, like a more of a 6-hour stream one of these days here, but I made the classic mistake of going to Pickens Square instead of to where the NPC actually is I need to talk to. I did this last time too. Little graveyard. Can't actually get into this spot in post Searing, so it's kind of fun to come up here now. Oh man, this area is just so cool. That little island in particular has a specific. I mean, true, but it's using square in the sense of plaza or piazza rather than as a geographical thing. Hey, warthog. That'd make a good pet. Fair. But yeah, these sets of pillars I've always been kind of fond of. They're intriguing. What purpose did they serve? Oh, there is the top of that one, I bet. Yeah, and here's the top part of this one. That's cool. They actually have the tops of the pillars lying around. Alright, let's kill some Grawl and some oak hearts and then be on our merry way. Ah. Well, in this case, maybe they're Doric pillars. That is a Guild Wars joke. They certainly do a nice job of defining a space, you know? No, because King Doric. That's the Guild Wars 1 reference. No, that was the human king. Like the progenitor king. Ah, I see. That makes sense. I don't know either, but let's get out of here. Yes. He is the first royalty to which all other human royalty traces its roots, including King Adalbern and Queen Jenna. / Salma. The originator of the royal bloodline of the human kingdoms. Yep. There's some distant relation between Adalbern and Baradin, and I'm not entirely sure what it is, but they do have something in common. They might have the family tree on the wiki somewhere. But there's various plot points related to some of that stuff. And somewhere there's a quest that talks about Adalbern having a legitimate claim on the throne because of that. But of course, like, Rurik is going to marry Althea, Baradin's daughter. So, like, that also aligns those royal lines and merges them. Hey, Torin. Yes, I knew in my gut he was still alive. Thank you so much for finding him. You are welcome. Okay, now I just need to go turn in those 2 quests in Ascalon City, and we will leave pre-searing. As much as I love pre-searing, which I do. Yep. Tyrion royalty family tree. Thank you. I think I need to talk to Namar, right? Yeah. No, my only quest is Char in the Catacombs and Path of Glory, so we will do those things. Hello, Arthur Ayala. Make an Ascalonian longbow. Plus 1 damage against the Char. Not worth. But hello, Unichrome Leet. I mean, the game's still here. Your account, if you remember the credentials, still exists. This is proof enough. You have served Ascalon well this day. I will mobilize the troops and search for this beast. Well then, let's go do that. I still, like, these stalls, I just love them so much. It's flat, weirdly high-resolution pictures of potatoes and other potatoes and tomatoes and garlic, onions. More barrels of foodstuffs. I don't know, something caught my eye there, and I'm not sure what it was. It's still populated enough. I'm in District 2, to be clear. This many people are hanging around District 2 of Ascalon City. So people still hang out here, for example. So there are population centers, and there is the Global Guild Wars 1 wiki, or Guild Wars 1 Discord. I think it's discord.gg/GW. That you can always connect with people there. And the game's totally playable without having to party up with other players. Unlike friggin' group events in Guild Wars 2. /rant. Have you heard? We're almost ready to set out. Before you join us, keep in mind that you'll have to say goodbye to all the comforts of Ascalon City. Out there, beyond the wall, our lives will be in constant danger, and we'll have only our comrades to rely on. But Balthazar willing, we'll drive these Char from our kingdom once and for all. We are mustering our forces now. The attack against the Char will begin tonight. Let me know when you are ready to go, but be sure that all of your affairs are in order, because there will be no turning back if you have unfinished business. My business is all finished. Yeah, let's go. Understandable. But yeah, friggin' group events in Guild Wars 2, and it's like, boy, it would be great if I could do this thing I need to do to be able to finish this collection, but no one's here. I don't know. I've enjoyed End of Dragons. Kind of Insidian is really cool looking. Flat bow or longbow of enchanting. This is actually probably better than this one. That's 15 plus 50. This is plus 10 versus hexed. 5% longer enchantments is not really any duration. I think it's kind of irrelevant. I'm going to salvage the plant fiber out of the scroll necklace, though. I never finished it. Guild Wars 2 is this weird tension between open world and instanced single player zones. It's very strange. I've grown to enjoy Guild Wars 2 again with the later expansions. Because core Guild Wars 2 combat is deeply boring. Core professions tend to be kind of boring, and the elite specializations help a lot with that, with giving interesting mechanics. But it's not just that. It's also core enemy design is tremendously bland, and they did a lot to make it more interesting to fight enemies in the expansions. Like Path of Fire was a lot more enjoyable. At least for me. Everybody's going to be in a different spot in some of that stuff, though. Everyone said I tried Graham. Yeah, I've gotten close. It's just like, yeah, that's the thing. Is the buildcraft is the combat works well enough that the buildcraft feels meaningfully interesting, right? Like those two go together. And I like them a lot in Guild Wars 1. I have a character that's close to Guam. I need to finish cartography and Um, ooh, level up. We'll go get a point in marksmanship. But I need to finish cartography and the consumption titles, party animal, etc. Those 3. I think that's it. That's a weird perspective thing. But it's like so tedious to get the consumption titles. I could probably finish them off just by buying the points that I need. I have not been minioning enough. Give me my minuscule amounts of gold coins. Aha, I got there. Got there. We'll watch the Searing. And yeah, like I tried to get the UMod working for cartography, but it was
on that day that the Char discovered
finicky.
a way around the Great Wall, a way to bring it down.
Oh man, so impactful. When you go into this game not knowing this is going to happen, it hits so hard.
This is where the true story begins.
So impactful. I didn't know that was going to happen exactly. Like I had some hint. The thing that got me to play the game was a friend talking about the effects of the searing and seeing the actor stage, which you can see over there, tilted over. So this is where we started in pre-searing Ascalon. Like the camera came in and looked at us here. And this building was right next to where we started. And I did not notice that until recently. But it's the exact same spot. Like, we came over here and we talked to an NPC over here. Welcome back. Talk to Sir Titus. It's the same thing, right? It's doing the exact same setup. It's a mirror. Pre-searing mirrors post-searing, which was made first. And we would go over here and we talk to Armin Saberlin and Sir Titus, and they were over here by this gate. But yeah, like when you don't know what's going on, it's like, oh, this is just a standard European style fantasy setting, medieval European fantasy setting. Hey, Salty Grease, you've arrived just in time for me to be wrapping up the stream. Um, and then the searing happens, and if you don't know it's coming, it completely blindsides you. And it's just everything is in order. Shiro Descendants over here. And it was just a complete blindside. I didn't know it was coming, and it leaves its mark. Oh, yeah, yeah. For sure. I have one of those sitting around in there. And yeah, it was just the impact of the searing is like, oh, this game is serious business now. I don't have dye collection anywhere. Well, we're gonna start it right here with brown dye. It's a proper thing to do. Man. So impactful. Corwin, I need your finest armors. Probably. Okay. What do I want? Cabal or Tyrion? I think I want Cabal. I think I like Cabal better. Ball tunic, gloves, leggings, and boots. And I need some dust for probably death magic, yeah. There we go. Goodbye, Initiate's armor. You are no longer needed. The brave new world of lace? Fishnets? I don't know. Fishnets, I guess. Definitely not the final form of armor, but that's okay. Well, that is going to bring us to a close for today's stream. Next stream will be, I don't know, but I always announce them on the Discord, and I put up the VODs on my YouTube channel. And I thank people for coming out and hanging out and chatting out of what I want from streaming. Yeah. So until next time, everyone, take care. Like I said, thank you for watching, and goodbye.